In today's video, we're going to continue with where we left off in the Mages Guild questline. As a quick recap, we completed all 7 Mages Guild recommendations from the 7 participating major cities. Most of the tasks involved mundane fetch quests, some were more exciting than others, and a few even foreshadowed future events from within the guild. Now, it's time to finally go and meet Ramidus Polis at the Arcane University in the Imperial City. Fast traveling to the university, we lay eyes on the Archmage's Tower. Within this tower is where we're to meet Ramidus Polis. We enter inside and speak with the Imperial.
Hello, Associate. It seems you've obtained the final recommendation you required. I have received recommendations from all the local guild halls in Cyrodiil. You've done well for yourself. You may now enter the university. As a full-fledged member of the Mages Guild, I now also promote you to the rank of Apprentice and grant you the robe of the Apprentice. Take a moment and try it on, then we shall speak of what comes next for you.
I quickly wanted to inspect the robe to see if it was worth equipping. Unfortunately, for my build, it wasn't. So, we resumed the conversation with Ramidus.
We come to the real work at last. You have, no doubt, seen some of the worst the guild has to offer. As much as we try to hold mages to a higher standard, they are only human. What I hope you will now see is that while the guild can be disjointed and misused, it can also achieve some wonderful things. Now you have an opportunity to engage in more meaningful tasks and continue with your advancement through the guild. You do not yet qualify for further advancement in the guild. Before you can begin work for the guild, you'll need to do something for yourself. Every mage carries a staff. It is crafted and enchanted by the guild and is a symbol of status. You need such a staff. The wood used for staves comes from a grove to the northeast of the Imperial City, near Wellspring Cave. Several mages tend to the grove and should be able to assist you. Speak with either Zarasha or Ilette when you arrive, and choose wisely. Wellspring Cave lies to the northeast of the Imperial City. The mages there can assist you. You have your task. Acquire wood for a staff from the grove outside Wellspring Cave.
We're tasked with heading to Wellspring Cave to craft our staff. We're to meet some Mages Guild contacts from within. I decided it best to exit the university and leave the city limits in order to get to the location with the most efficiency. Pretty soon, we arrived at Wellspring Cave and entered inside. With a little bit of venturing, we noticed that things aren't right here. Immediately, we see the body of a dead Khajiit woman on the floor. Standing next to her is a mage in tattered robes with a red skull and bones embroidered into it. We're aggroed and she conjures a spirit to help her. This is our first official fight with a necromancer in the Mages Guild. It's best to ignore their conjuration and shoot straight for the mage. A few swings with Sinweaver and she went down for the count. Investigating the body, we received a quest update that the dead Khajiit is one of our contacts, Zarasha. From here, our mission changes to finding out what is exactly going on in this cave. Entering the next zone, we come face to face with 2 more necromancers. With a charged Sinweaver, they're easy to defeat. However, 2 more enemies quickly becomes 4, and it's really easy to get overwhelmed. Given my character's melee build, the ranged magic attacks are certainly a good counter. Soon enough though, both necromancers fell. From here, there are 2 pathways to take. One of them is simply an underwater passageway to help you get back on land if you fall off the bridge. The other passageway leads to a 3rd necromancer. Once defeated, a doorway leading outside to the waterfront can be accessed using a key we picked up from Zarasha's body. Once outside, we're in a secluded area where multiple hooded figures approach us.
What have we here? Another plaything? You'll dance for me, little one. Yes, you will. I will make your corpse dance and then tear itself apart.
Another battle breaks out. From the corner of our eyes, we see another dead body. this time of an elderly Redguard woman. However, there's no time to investigate. 3 enemies quickly become 6. In this moment, the best strategy for our character is to stand our ground, tank the hits, and unleash as many heavy attacks as possible. It's also a good idea to focus on one necromancer at a time, as when they're defeated, their conjuration leaves with them. 2 of the necromancers quickly fell, and then we're left battling with 1 more. She heals a few times, but ultimately succumbs to our blade. We get a quest update saying we should grab the wood for the staff and then return to Raminus. Before doing so, we investigate the dead Redguard woman to reveal that it is indeed Alette. Both of our Mages Guild contacts were murdered in cold blood. We walk over to the stone chest and look inside. There, we find an unfinished staff. We can now fast travel back to the Arcane University and speak with Raminus.
Apprentice. What? Necromancers at the cave? Ileta and Zarasha dead. I can't believe it. They've never been so bold before now. Always hiding in the shadows, staying away from the guild. What could have prompted this? I'll need to speak to the council about this. Thank you for relaying the information. Now tend to your staff and your wounds if necessary. Delmar at the Kiranasium can help you with the staff. See him right away. Now that you have the wood, speak with Delmar at the Kiranasium.
The Chironasium is on the gated side of the university grounds, which we can now access. Walking into the building, we seek out the elderly Redguard named Delmar.
Welcome to the Chironasium. Can I help you? Ah, yes. This is a big step for you, friend, whether you know it or not. Now you'll need to decide what sort of staff you're looking for. Something that fits you and your abilities. Shall we begin? Enchanting staves can be a tricky business. Only certain spells will be truly useful to you, so I'll narrow it down some. Let's start with the school. Which appeals most to you? Destruction, illusion, or mysticism? Very well. You have 3 choices for what type of damage you'd like it to do. Fire, frost, or shock. Your staff will let you wield the power of lightning. If you want something else instead, we can start over. Right. I'll get to work. You come see me tomorrow, and I'll have your staff ready.
We wait for 24 hours in the Chironasium. I figured that since a lot of my weapons do fire damage already, I would pick one of the other 2 options. Quickly weighing out both, I thought shock damage would better suit my needs for this playthrough. Once the wait is over, we speak again with Delmar.
Welcome to the Chironasium. Can I help you? Yes, it's all finished. It's in that cupboard back in the corner. I hope it serves you well.
We go into the cabinet and retrieve our mage's staff, thus ending the quest, a mage's staff. We can now return back to Raminus Polis in the Archmage's lobby and ask him for a new task.
I have a new task for you. In accordance with guild rules, you now qualify for the rank of journeyman. May you wear your rank well. The Council is investigating what happened at Wellspring Cave. Many of our resources are devoted to the task, leaving our ranks spread thin. There is a related book that needs to be recovered. It was recently loaned to Janice Hasseldor, the Count of Skingrad. I'd like you to retrieve it. I understand this may not seem the most important of tasks, but still, it needs doing, and you are one of the few available to do it. A note of caution. Skingrad is an unusual place. Be prepared for the unexpected. The Count is a reclusive man and sometimes difficult to see. Hopefully, your status as a representative of the guild will aid you. Speak with the castle steward when you arrive. The city lies southwest of the Imperial City. The castle overlooks the city from a steep hill. You should have no trouble finding it.
Our next quest lies within the city of Skingrad and retrieving some sort of book from its count. Exiting the lobby, we quickly head back to the Chironasium to charge our enchanted weapons. Once completed, we fast travel to the major city at once. We're able to go immediately inside of the castle. There, we speak with the Count's steward, Mercator Hosidus.
Yes, the Mages Guild, you say? Oh, the Count is quite aware of your presence here. He simply has no interest in granting you an audience at this time. Now that I've seen you myself, I can't say that I blame him. Nevertheless, I shall endeavor to change his mind on the subject. Return tomorrow. Perhaps he will see you then.
Not the nicest of stewards, but we give him the 24 hours like he asks us, and then we return to hear what he has to say.
You there. I have an update for you. The Count has agreed to see you, but not here. He wishes to meet you north of the cursed mine outside of town, after 2 a.m. It would be wise of you to be on time. Follow the road west out of Skingrad, through the high pasture. The mine entrance is south of the road. The Count will meet you just outside it.
Mercator tells us to meet the Count in a really strange place at an even more strange time. However, we are to retrieve that book from him, so we'll do what we must. We fast travel to the stables and walk along the road until we get to our meeting spot. Once situated, we wait a few hours until the prescribed time. 2 a.m. hits and there's no sign of the Count. However, we're soon approached by some shady, hooded figures and a familiar face.
Ask a commoner. I don't...
Just in time, mage. We've been waiting for you. I'm afraid I misled you. The Count won't be arriving. In fact, he doesn't even know you're here. We're not about to let the Guild interfere with our plans, for the Count or otherwise. So, you'll have to die. Don't worry. We'll put your body to good use, I assure you.
Spirits and the undead are quickly conjured, and we're way outnumbered. We hold our ground, tank the hits, and swing away with our enchanted elven claymore. Suddenly, out of nowhere, a man runs into the field where we've been ambushed. He joins the fight and aids us, killing Mercator first. Soon, one of the necromancers falls, and then together, we strike down the second one. The battle has concluded, and this mysterious figure comes to talk to us.
You impossible fool. What possessed you to think I would suggest a meeting here, of all places? At least your gullibility served some useful purpose. I knew about Mercator, but not his friends. Now none of them are a threat any longer. Do you not recognize a necromancer when you see one? I suspected Mercator was involved in their cult, but was unwilling to move against him without knowing the identities of his allies. Count Janus Hasseldor at your service. A thank you might be in order at this point. Despite what your council may think, I've not thrown in with the necromancers and would never do so. You may pass along that message. Is that so? Perhaps your council has not been entirely honest with you. Do you really believe they sent you here for a book? No, they sent you here to spy on me. They've heard the same rumors I have about the Necromancer's cult. Tell your council that the next time they want something from me, they come themselves. They don't send someone under false pretenses. Yes, I see that now. I regret that Traven has involved you in this way. At least you've survived. For now. Perhaps in the future you can be trusted enough to deal with more serious matters. Now our business here is concluded. I suggest you return to your council.
There was no book to be retrieved after all. We were simply there to keep an eye on the Count to see where his allegiance lied. In the process, we uncovered a conspiracy in the courtroom, outed and killed some necromancers. It's time to return back to Raminus Polis and tell him what has transpired.
Have you been to Skingrad and seen Count Hasseldor? Saved you, did he? Well, that's a good sign. I must apologize. It was never the Council's intention to put you in harm's way. The Count's unique nature is not public knowledge. The Council wishes to keep it that way. At the time, it was believed that there was no reason to inform you, since it was not crucial to the task you were given. For that reason, I was unable to disclose more about his true identity to you. Clearly, that judgment was in error. I apologize. Archmage Travin feared that sending a high-ranking official with the guild might draw too much attention and provoke a reaction from the Count. We were also concerned that it might drive any necromancers in the area underground, making them more difficult to root out. We simply wanted to survey the situation in Skingrad. Our relationship with Hasseldor is tenuous at best. The Council has agreed to keep his nature a secret, and in exchange, he occasionally provides us with useful information. As a vampire, the Count has few allies he can trust. He has disguised his nature from most, but cannot hide it from the Council of Mages, so he approached us with an accord. As you have seen, that agreement is under a great deal of strain lately. The Count does not agree with certain policies the Guild has established. It's not quite that simple. Hasseldor is powerful, to be sure, but the Council does not consider him to be a threat. After all, he has ruled over Skingrad for quite some time, without incident. We feared Hasseldor may have been involved with the necromancers. Thanks to your involvement, it would seem that he is not. At least, not for the moment. We will continue to monitor the situation, but I assure you, we will make no further attempts to mislead you. You have done your job admirably, and I thank you for it.
Raminus now knows that Janus Hasseldor has not taken up allegiance with the necromancers, and now we have been informed of Hasseldor's true identity, thus ending the quest, ulterior motives. It's yet again time to return to Raminus for an advancement and more tasks.
I have a new task for you, and I assure you there are no necromancers involved. Your services to the Guild have not gone unnoticed. As of this moment, you have gained the rank of Evoker. Along with your new rank, please take this amulet. May it help keep you safe in times of danger. Are you ready for it? If not, I understand you've been through quite a bit lately. Very well. There's a research project going on at one of the Aliad ruin sites on the eastern side of the province. Irlav Jirol is in charge of the project and is apparently in need of some help. I thought you might need a break after the things you've been exposed to lately. You can find Irlav in the Archmage's Tower. He's a good man, but council matters have distracted him lately and he's been neglecting his other work. Speak with Irlav Jirol. He can give you the details you need.
We take the Mages Guild portal and are teleported to a new area. Here, we find Irlav and speak with him.
You're about Vatican, are you? It's a damn shame. I haven't been giving the project the attention it deserves. The last report I received from Skalil indicated there was some sort of problem, a blocked passage or something that they couldn't get past. I'd investigate it further, but I'm needed here with the council. Raminus says you've got a good head on your shoulders. Look into it for me, will you? You can find Skalil at the site. Access is restricted, so you'll need this key. She's the mage heading up the on-site research. She can tell you more about whatever it is that's impeding their progress. It's an alien ruin southwest of Cheydinhall. We suspect that there are some interesting things inside, so a research project was established. Scaleel is there now, working on investigating the ruins.
We're now off to the alien ruin called Vatican to meet with our contact inside, Scaleel. Lucky for us, Vatican is located right beside Swampy Cave, a quest location we discovered for the Fighters Guild. A quick fast travel over there, and we soon arrived at our point of interest in no time. Interesting to note is that Vatican appears as a simple cave from the outside, which is in contrast to the beautiful, aged, and sprawling stonework that we usually find at the entrances of alien ruins. Once inside, we make our way through a cave system that leads us all the way to the innards of an alien ruin. Either the guild or miners must have broken through the walls and stumbled across the long-forgotten crypt. We see an Argonian holding a torch. Approaching her, we engage in conversation.
This is a restricted area, I'm afraid. You have business here? Don't tell me Jarl sent you. Erlov sent you, did he? Figures. He can't be bothered to come check on his own project, so he sends someone who knows nothing about it. And this is supposed to help? No offense to you, friend. It's not your fault. And perhaps you can help. If you can figure out how to use the pillar, I'd be thrilled. You're welcome to try your hand at it. That's what we're calling it, only because we don't know what it really is, or was. It's magical, we know that much. Enchanted somehow. We think it's a lock of some sort, but haven't been able to figure out how it works. All I can say for sure is that it reacts to magic, badly most of the time. Several mages were hurt attempting to cast spells at it. It's at the bottom of the ruins, if you wish to try your luck. Be careful, though. It could be quite hazardous to your health. Best to play it safe. No complex magic. Stick to basic spells with single effects. It's not worth taking unnecessary risks. It's connected to the rest of the chamber. We know that much. We just don't know how it works. I've given up trying to figure it out. It's just beyond us. Why Denel stays down there, I have no idea. He's just asking to get killed. This place has been nothing but trouble as far as I'm concerned. Since we disposed of the creatures that had taken up residence here, it's been nothing but a fight to figure out how the place works. The pillar has had us stumped for more than a week now, not to mention the injuries it's caused.
We head to a set of doors and use our key given to us by Erlov to open it. Once we walk a short distance, we find our Imperial contact, Denel.
Sent you in to try your hand at the thing, have they? I don't know how much Scaleel told you. We know that it reacts to magic, but every time we've tried, the thing shocks whomever cast the spell. It hasn't been fatal for anyone yet, but we stopped trying after the first few attempts. I can tell you, it really hurts. The only thing we haven't figured out is the markings. You see them on the walls? They must relate to the pillar, but I don't know how. If we had some sort of reference, something to compare them to, we might be able to decipher them, but we lack anything like that. Scaleel might have a book that would be useful, but she's been skulking over the way Erlov's been treating her. Perhaps you could ask her for it. I don't know what else to say. Until we have some sort of reference for understanding these symbols, we'll never figure this thing out. I don't know. Anything that might help explain these inscriptions in the ruins. They're like nothing we've seen to date.
We ascend back to the entrance and speak again with Scaleel to get the alien reference book.
What? If there's anything about Vatican you need explained, let me know. I'll help if I can. I don't know why Dental is even trying. This is doomed to fail. But fine. If he wants it, he can have it. It's just one more thing I'll get blamed for in the end.
Looking at the book, it doesn't really make much sense. There are Ayleid passages which are translated into the common tongue, yet the translations don't reveal anything obvious or straightforward. However, by going back to Denel and giving him this book, this conversation ensues.
Yes? You got the book, eh? Good for you. I've given up trying to deal with her for now. I'll tell you what. I'll take the book, and then if you can read me the inscriptions, I'll see if I can find the translations for them. Now that I have the book, I can try and translate what's on the walls here. You just read the inscriptions. Let me know what they say.
We can now go into the room with the pillar and look around. Each of the four corners contains a tablet with inscriptions. By reading the inscriptions, we can return to Denel and he'll give us the following instructions.
Okay, what do you need translated? According to this, it translates to from fire, life. Fire it is then. Anything else? Mafre seems to translate to frost, so a spell with frost damage should work for it. Anything else? It means magicka shines. And taken in context with the other inscription about magicka darkening, perhaps there's an alternate translation. If we assume it means magicka waxes, then a spell increasing magicka might be what we need. Something that fortifies it, perhaps. It means magicka darkens. Considering the other inscription, it could be translated to mean magicka wanes, along with magicka waxes. Perhaps a spell that damages magicka is what you're looking for. Okay.
By facing the pillar and casting a fire spell, frost spell, drain magicka spell, and fortify magicka spell in that order, the pillar will open up to reveal a passageway with a door. Speaking with both Denel and Skalil will invoke these reactions.
Well, would you look at that? Someone will need to see where this goes. I think you should go. You've done all the hard work, after all. If there are any discoveries to be made, you should be the one to make them. You deserve that much.
Have you found anything interesting in the ruins? You made it work. That's fantastic. Not only can I tell Erlav we're back on track, but I can happily say we did it without his help. There must be something down there worth locking up. Would you mind taking a look as long as you're here? If I can send you back with something worthwhile, Erlav may forget all about our delays.
It's now time to descend into the passageway and venture forth. We're immediately met by a ghost. However, with a fully charged Sinweaver, it was really no issue. I decided to try out my Mages Guild staff, mainly to save the charge on Sinweaver. However, this staff ended up being incredible for dispatching the ghosts. We were able to two-shot all of them, and even better, from a distance. This zone had plenty of floor traps laid out, and if we weren't careful, we would have been crushed to death. We even encountered some swinging blade traps, but those are relatively easy to get around. We finally ended up in one big open area. In the middle was an elevated platform that contained a chest of sorts. In order to make it up there, we had to press a button located on the other side of the room in a separately elevated area. Once the button was pressed, we were able to ascend the stairs. However, once up there, 3 more spirits spawned in and began attacking us. The shock damage from our staff was certainly good enough to defeat all 3 ghosts, however, these ones required more than 2 hits to beat. Once dispatched, we made our way back up the stairs and pressed another button. This one opened up the chest-like contraption located on the pedestal, and an Ayleid relic was revealed. It looked like a regular elven helmet, however, it was titled Ancient Elven Helm. We picked it up and received a quest update to return back to Skalil. A secret passageway opened up, we fought and defeated a skeleton hero which was guarding it, and then we were able to take the path all the way back to the beginning area. Speaking with Scaleel went like this.
You want? What's that you have there? That looks important, whatever it is. I think you've really found something. You'd best get that to Erlov back at the Imperial City as soon as possible. He'll want the mages there to examine it more closely.
We were now tasked with delivering the helm back to Erlov. We exited Vatican and fast-traveled back to the university. There, we spoke with Erlov and handed over the helmet.
What's this? Some sort of alien artifact? Well, well, Romanus was right in sending you out there. Good work. I'll be sure and put in a good word for you. Good work getting that straightened out. I'm glad someone finally came along that was able to make progress with it.
Thus ending the quest, Vatican's Secret. Let's talk a little more about the quests we just played through. A mage's staff required us to go to Wellspring Cave and speak with one of two Mages Guild contacts, Ileta or Zarasha. Ramidus made it sound like we had to pick one of the two contacts to go with, and our decision would greatly impact the outcome of our staff. Obviously, fate had other plans and a group of necromancers killed them both. We'll never know how truly impactful and decisive it would have been to pick either of the two women to aid us with crafting our signature staff. Maybe we would have had to have gone to the Chironasium either way to have it enchanted by Delmar, but we won't be able to know now. We see that the necromancers seem relatively organized and are working together as a group. Ramidus seems shocked by this as they have never been bold and tactful before. The quest ends with us receiving our Mages Guild staff. The next quest, Ulterior Motives, is rather short but also rather sweet. Ramidus asks us to go to Skingrad and retrieve a special book from the city's count. At this point, the game is assuming we've never met the Count before and his true nature as a vampire is unknown to us still. We speak with the Count's steward who comes off as rather rude and dismissive. However, we return after 24 hours and Mercator, the steward, has set up a meeting for us with the Count. The meeting area and time are quite strange, however. We follow his instructions and instead are met by Mercator and two necromancers who try to kill us. The Count soon shows up and helps us defeat the threat. We are formally introduced to the Count of Skingrad, Janus Hasseldor, who happens to be a vampire. Hasseldor scolds us for being so naive and brash about our meeting with Mercator, but he does thank us for outing the fellow necromancers of the court. It seems like the necromancer problem is becoming worse around Cyrodiil, with more organized attacks and them even going undercover in a major city's courtroom. Hasseldor informs us that the guild lied to us about our duties in Skingrad. We were in fact sent here to spy on Hasseldor and find out one way or another if he had sided with the necromancers. We return back to Ramidus and he explains everything to us. Finally, in Vatican's Secret, we step away from the necromancer storyline and speak with a man named Erlov. Erlov tells us to help out some fellow mages in an alien ruin and aid in the discovery of either artifacts or new information. We speak with some contacts in the ruin and together open a passageway that leads to the rest of the ruin. This ruin contains traps, spirits, and treasures. Most importantly, we find an alien relic that appears to be an ancient elven helm. We take this helm back to Erlov and he thanks us for our work. Next time, we'll speak with Ramidus to receive more tasks and advancements. We'll ideally discover more about the rising necromancer cult and maybe we'll receive some more information on the elven helm. Until next time, keep on adventuring.